Iraq forces media to use sexual deviance instead of homosexuality. In a move that has shocked human rights activists, Iraq is planning to force media outlets and social media platforms to replace the word homosexuality with the phrase, quote, sexual deviance. The Iraqi Communications and Media Commission, or CMC for short, confirmed this plan change, also revealing a ban on the use of the word gender. Amnesty International has vehemently condemned this decision, and with Aya Majzoub, the organization's deputy director for the Middle East and North Africa region, stating that, quote, the CMC's ban on the word homosexuality and insistence that the media use sexual deviance instead is a dangerous move that can fuel discrimination and violent attacks against members of the LGBT community. Majzoub added that the decision demonstrates, quote, a callous disregard for combating gender-based violence at a time when such crimes are reportedly on the rise within the country. The announcement has further ignited concerns over freedom of expression and non-discrimination in Iraq. So I thought this would obviously be very interesting to cover. So now you're no longer just allowed to call it homosexuality. You're only allowed to refer to it explicitly as a deviance, which obviously, when you're controlling speech in general, but then it's just you're not allowed to refer to it in a more neutral way. You have to refer to it in a way that is explicitly negative and pejorative, right? And also just banning, you're not allowed to just say the word gender. And I don't know if this is a women's rights thing or more of a backlash against transgender thing. If I had to guess, it would be more in the female vein, because it's really funny to me when people get upset about the word gender, like the word gender studies. If you hear the phrase gender studies, you're probably going to think, oh, this is going to be a studies of women's movements, right? As if only women have a gender. Or if you think ethnic studies in the American context, you'd be thinking about ethnic minorities, when really everyone has an ethnicity. You know what I'm saying? So that's why people are saying that putting prescriptions on the word like gender can have negative consequences to more accurately addressing violence against vulnerable people like women and females in society. But Armin, what is your reaction?
What is the point of this exactly? What does this achieve? What do you know what led to this?
There are some people saying that this might be kind of a consequence of all the action and contention surrounding the Quran burnings that have been happening in Iraq, like a more generalized backlash. But there has been a movement for a growing movement in Iraq that is anti-LGBT, and it's being partially led by how do you say his name? Mutalaq al-Sadr. Is that how you say his name?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, who's a highly influential Shia cleric. There's in the past year, he's been more boldly anti-LGBT. It's something that I've been kind of watching in the background. And that obviously has a huge implication. Armin, for people who don't know about al-Sadr's influence, how would you describe who he is and why he's important and why that matters, that it's him putting this out there?
Well, I mean, he's the biggest Shia political force outside of Iranian influence right now in Iraq, right? And it's the main one that is challenging Iranian authority among the Shia population there as well, which, by the way, he just got tricked out of anyway, that's too much detail. Anyway, so he's a major both political and military force within Iraq with a lot of military influence, like militia influence, religious influence, and political influence. One guy has all that influence, right? So he's a big deal. He's a very big deal in Iraqi politics. But I wonder, because this is a guy that when he moves, when he makes a move politically, it's not because Like he's very good at, well, I mean, recently he's screwed up, but he makes calculated moves within politics. So this is actually a good way to try to understand these things, because a lot of atheists, when they watch news like this and they say, oh yeah, mullah, religious person, came out against gay, LGBT, they're like, okay, this is just their religion, obviously this is what they do. But if you understand the political games that these people play, you understand that this is religion being used for a different goal. So what could be, we could play a game like, okay, what goal could be, what is the move here? What is the answer is rarely, oh, this is just what they say because they believe it Islamically. Islam is obviously part of the equation, but there's usually more to it than that. So here, if what we had to guess is that this brings you political capital. Like, I would guess that there's something happening behind the scenes or something that if we dive deeper into this, we would understand. Um, that somebody is making a move to be against somebody else, or to take attention. Oh, so it's either a move against somebody else, is either, or to bring attention away from something else, or to highlight your position Islamically within, at a time that is needed, to show that you are a defender of Islam, to increase your political capital. So it could be any of these things. Or maybe you're not being, another thing is that maybe you haven't been talked about for a while, and people are forgetting your influence, and you want to make sure that you are on the news and that you're being talked about, your name is on people's tongues. These are all different reasons that could be there. I don't know which one of these are, but this is my experience when it comes to stuff like this. Like, if you follow, I follow Iranian politics a lot more, right? So when you see a mullah coming out and saying something about hijab, there's more to that story. There's something political happening that makes that mullah come and say that. So I'm suspecting that's exactly what's happening here in Iraq as well.
Yeah, I would agree. Like it serves a utility.
Yeah, exactly. A political utility.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh wait, there was some comment. Was there comments here? Yeah, this one. Look at this. I don't know. Look at, and they are wrong for this. Like these people. So Iraq bans media for using homosexuality. Says they must use sexual deviance. And somebody's commenting they aren't wrong for this. I want to see where where this person is from. Is this like a? I can't say. It doesn't say. But I feel like there's a lot of agreement between Christians and Muslims regarding stuff like this. Oh, this one is making a. This person is making a joke. So this is sarcasm, obviously. Someone is saying banning wars always goes well. So that was sarcasm. This one is saying, well, they ain't wrong, are they? Oh my God. Look at the state of the West and our ever growing tolerance of all manner of perversions. It is sick and it ain't right. See? This is bigots from the West and bigots from the East and the Middle East uniting over their bigotry. Their bigotry is bringing them together. All right. Cool. Are we? Hold on. Okay. Are we
Ready
ready
for the
for
next news?
the? Yes. Is it clappable?
Well, we don't like this.
We don't like this. Okay. So should I not clap?
Well, I mean, probably not.
Oh, we had a super chat. Another super chat by Oxymoron. So let me just address this. Oxymoron is saying for Tesla explored Akash to form relationships between matter and energy. Same story like you said about stoicism. By the way, I just pointed out inconsistently and rightly so. Okay, so those were words. They were not very. They were not used very well. You're not very good at explaining things, Oxymoron. I think you're pointing out that some scientific people use um, pseudoscience mumbo jumbo to connect things together, and that doesn't actually prove your point at all. Newton, for example, had many pseudoscientific beliefs, and that was separate, and actually that hurted his science. Like the fact that they try to do these things sometimes, it didn't make them come up with the scientific explanations that they did. It actually often reduced the scientific gifts that they had for humanity. For example, go look at Newton. If Newton was not distracted by all this biblical and pseudoscientific mumbo jumbo, his contribution to the world of science would have been so much more than even what he had contributed.